Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to another edition of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan here on the Epic Sports Network. James Poovey coming to you tonight alongside my very special guest co-host, Mr. Jamal Gumo, joining us here on the program. Jamal, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I'm always excited to talk Arizona high school football with you. And for those of you who may not know, Jamal also has his own Gumball Sports Machine podcast as well, and also runs our main camera along with our field camera from time to time as well for our Thursday night football games. And Jamal, we're so excited to have you, my friend.
JP, it's an absolute pleasure. I always love working with you, man. This is awesome. And it's always a good night when we get to talk high school football here in Arizona. Absolutely happy to be here. And I can't wait to talk to the great guests we got tonight.
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming your way this week for sure. Thursday night football takes us, or keeps us, I should say, on the west side out in Surprise as we have the Paradise Honors Panthers hosting the Thunderbird Titans. I believe third, maybe even the fourth year in a row that we've had the Thunderbird Titans on Thursday night football. So let's not waste any time. Let's get these gentlemen in here right now. Joining us is Coach Matt Nallette from the Thunderbird Titans. And I tell you what, you guys got a great looking setup over there, Coach. Tell us about the season so far, and then we're going to talk with both of those young men who you brought along with you here tonight.
Season, so far we had some ups and recently experienced some downs. So we're trying to get back on that winning track right now. Right now we're 6-2. We're in a good position as we finish out these three to get in the playoffs, and that's the goal all along.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the recent little stretch of the back-to-back losses, excuse me. A football season isn't a football season without a little adversity. What is the key to being able to bounce back from those losses and stay strong and really get hit and get back up?
Yeah, you really just got to turn the page and move on to the next one. And that's what we're doing this week with Paradise Honors. We know they're a really good team. Every team in our region is its own unique, tough challenge. So we're going to have to be on top and have our A game ready for them come Thursday night.
Coach, tell us about the young man you brought along here with you tonight. You brought your quarterback, J.P. Stewart, and wide receiver, Daryl Little, along with you tonight. Tell us about these young men and what impact they've had for the Titans football program.
Yeah, well, they're obviously very talented football players, but they're also great young men and great leaders for our football program. All right, so J.P. Stewart to my left here is our quarterback. He also plays defense. He's our student body president, homecoming king, AP student. He's everything all rolled into one. 3-sport athlete. And then to my right here is Daryl Little, the sophomore sensation. Extremely talented. The two have combined for a really productive 8 games so far, and we hope they can continue that moving forward down the stretch at the end of the season and into the playoffs.
Daryl, I actually wanted to ask you about that. So you do play both sides of the ball. How difficult is that to being able to balance playing on both sides of the ball? And what's your favorite part about being able to play on both sides of the ball?
Playing on both sides of the ball is kind of fun because, you really know what they're going to do when you watch film. And offense and defense, it's just, fun to be both ways. You just make plays on both sides of the ball.
Daryl, talk about your connection with your quarterback, J.P. Stewart, and the chemistry that you guys have been able to form over this season and how you plan to continue and even build that chemistry even stronger as we get ready for those playoffs coming up here in a few short weeks.
Me and JP, we always been throwing the ball around and just being on the field at practice. We just always just know, I'd be like, hey, JP, just throw that grass. I'm going to go get it. And ever since, we just keep doing that. We're just making big plays.
Coach, coming down the stretch of the season, how important is it for your leaders to really step up and let everybody know how important it is to finish the season strong, especially trying to make a playoff run?
It's of the utmost importance. This is when football gets hard. It's not nearly as hard early on in the season. When you get into region play, football gets hard. And no matter how good you are, you're going to face some adversity. And that's where their leadership, is very important for us to keep everybody level-headed, keep focused on what the ultimate goal is. And that goal is just getting into the playoffs.
Coach, what are some things that your football team has done well here in the first half and some change of the season? And then what are some things that you guys are looking to improve as you get ready to really tighten things up for those playoffs?
All right. Well, not to give too many things away, things we've done well, I think, are evident to anyone who sees us. So we're pretty balanced offensively. We're able to run the ball and throw the ball. We make a lot of explosive plays in the pass game thanks to these two guys right here. We've kind of established that identity on offense. We're averaging in the mid 30 points a game to mid to high 30s. And then defensively, our goal is just be aggressive. And I think we made a big improvement from 2 weeks ago to last week in that area. And we're just trying to get better every day.
JP, I asked Coach a little bit about leadership, but I want to ask you, being the quarterback of the team, do you consider yourself to be a leader, and how important is it to you to be able to lead the team?
Of course, I consider myself a leader. I think it's very important as a quarterback of the team to lead by example and not just tell everybody else what to do, just not abuse my authority, but just lead by example and just show them the way rather than tell them what to do and boss them around.
Now, Daryl, we know all about the little family tradition there at Thunderbird High School. There's been a number of outstanding players come through there just in the past few seasons. How do you continue to carry that torch for your family? And I think I've asked Coach Nolet this question, but what's in the water over there at the little household?
It's just work hard. I'm just working hard. Everybody in the little family that's over here, we just work hard every day. We go to practice, just do our thing. And the water is just in the blood for it.
JP, I mean, I'm looking at your stats here. I mean, they look really, really good. 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. I do want to talk about the touchdown interception ratio. You only have 5 interceptions on the year. How important is it to really protect the ball and help you guys? And how important is it to win games by doing that?
I think it's very important. I think that's one of our main focuses going into this next game. Rather get takeaways rather than get turnovers, keep the ball in possession as long as we can.
Coach, speaking of the next game, what kind of challenges do the Paradise Honors Panthers pose to your ball club? It's our first time visiting over there for Thursday Night Football. We're excited for the matchup, and it should be a great game on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, they are a big challenge. We're going to have our hands full. They have a running back who's very dynamic. He's putting up huge numbers. And a defense that has been very good. They've had, they played in the only 2-0 game this year in high school football. And that shows, a defense that can hold another opponent scoreless. And that's a playoff caliber opponent in Combs that, they can bring it on the defensive side of the ball.
And JP, I kind of want to ask you sort of the same question. On film, what stands out to you about this Paradise Honor defense that really poses a threat?
I think the D-line is very dynamic as well. They're quick, but I think our offensive line has a plan for it, and I think we're able to execute come Thursday night.
Coach, you've been able to keep a majority of that coaching staff together for the seasons that you've been there. Talk about that continuity and how important that is to really building a championship football program.
Yeah, it's really important, so you get guys that have been working together for several years. We're now comfortable with each other. We're able to, speak freely in the room, let each other know when we think there's something that needs to be corrected or what our opinion is on certain decisions, so I try to listen to all my staff with open ears and, take their advice and put it all together to come up with a good game plan each week and just steer the program in the right direction.
Daryl, we talked a little bit about your two-way ability a few minutes ago, and we've seen it in the past, and we're seeing it in the present now with Travis Hunter, and then obviously in the past with guys like Deion Sanders and Charles Woodson. Is there a guy, maybe one of those guys that you kind of look at and be like, yeah, that's kind of who I want to model my game after?
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter, he's a dog, and I always look at him sort of way because he can play both ways. He can play all game without getting tired. And, I just look up to be not tired in the whole game and just ball out just like him.
JP, talk to us about the coaching staff there at Thunderbird High School and how much they've made you a better player.
I think our coaching staff is the best coaching staff in Arizona. I think they just pour into us on and off the field, and they teach us how to be better football players, but more importantly, better young men, and give us life skills that we can use after high school.
JP, in your game right now, where do you think you can get better at?
I think I could definitely improve in my escaping the pocket. When it collapses, sometimes getting out, maybe spinning out and looking downfield, keeping my options open and getting the ball out, getting rid of it.
Basically, I would have the same question for you, Daryl. What are some things that you feel like you can improve in your game? Obviously, you guys are both having a fantastic season, but there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah, there's room for improvement. But I feel like I can get better at is catching in traffic, just like making the difficult catches when we need it, third down, fourth downs, and I just work on those. I need to work on that right there.
JP, when I asked you what threat Paradise Honors poses defensively, you mentioned the defensive line, and you mentioned that your offensive line was going to have a plan for that defensive line. What's your relationship with the offensive line like?
We have a great relationship. We're always communicating. I think we have to in order to be successful on Friday nights. And yeah.
Coach Nallette, tell us about the ascension of 4A football here in the state of Arizona. It's become ultra competitive these past few seasons, and it might be one of the most competitive divisions in all of Arizona high school football. And this week, obviously, no exception. But talk to us about the rise of 4A football here.
Yeah, so I think 4A I think you could say it's definitely the deepest conference, where there's talented teams. We have 58 teams, or maybe it's 59 now in 4A. And to get to be one of those top 24 teams, those are all good teams that are going to be in the playoffs. It ends up setting up for a lot of drama and excitement late in the season because any team really can win on any given Friday night. Particularly like the teams in our region. We have 6 teams in our region that are all excellent football teams, and I think any one of them can beat each other any night.
This one's kind of for both of you guys, Daryl and JP, but do you guys have any like pregame rituals, pregame superstitions where you have to do something in a certain order or whatever the case may be? Do you guys have like any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I mean, we have our chant. What chant we do before the game. I mean, not really any superstitions. We just know we have to go out and we're going for a win every night, and we know that's the goal every Friday and Thursday this week. So,
I also have a question for both you young men. What do you like to do off the field? We can all go look at the number of touchdowns you're putting up every week, week in and week out, I should say, for Thunderbird. But tell us about Daryl Little and then JP Stewart off the football field. What are you guys into?
What I'm into, I just like playing football. If I'm not doing nothing at home, or if I'm not playing football at school, I'm just training, or I'm just at home with my cousins just messing around or playing video games.
For me, like Coach said earlier, I'm involved in our student government here. I'm the student body president, so I'm very involved in the school, planning all the events and stuff like that. So it kind of takes my mind off of football for a little bit, but then we get right back to work when I hit the field.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, JP.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Go ahead.
Well, last one for me. What does the pregame speech look like? How do you guys, and this could, whichever one of you guys, if either of you guys do it, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What are you telling your guys to fire them up?
I would say it's whatever is necessary for that game. It's different every week. It comes from the heart. It's passionate. It's just like whatever the boys need to hear to get them fired up, that's what we're going to give them. So we have to.
Receiver Daryl Little, head coach Matt Nallette, wide receiver Daryl Little, and quarterback JP Stewart from the Thunderbird Titans joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to having you on once again this season. This time a road game out at Paradise Honors and Surprise. We'll see you guys in 2 short days, and we can't wait for the game.
Thank you for having us. We'll see you Thursday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely. Stay with us. More of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan coming up after the break. We will visit with Coach Seacock and the Paradise Honors Panthers. Stay with us. More of the show after the break.
It starts with a dream and a desire to be the best. You got the talent, you got the drive, and the work ethic. But to get recruited, it takes more than that. You need a playbook. That's where Recruit ID comes in. Our digital tools connect you with college programs that are fast, easy, and effective. Your dream is closer than you think. Let's get you seen. Visit recruitid.net and take your recruitment to the next level.
All Insurance has been serving Arizona drivers for over 30 years, so we have the experience to take great care of you. We can help you over the phone or face-to-face from one of our 30 convenient valley-wide locations. We represent all of the top carriers, so we do the shopping for you. Find out why we're the most referred agency in Arizona. All Insurance, insurance for all.
On game day, communication is everything. Procom offers the most powerful, most reliable headsets on the market. Paired with our state-of-the-art coach-to-player communication tools, your team is sure to dominate. It's time to communicate like a pro. Visit us at procomheadsets.com.
Get ready to feel the burn in Phoenix's newest hotspot. Hot Chicken Alley brings the sizzling Nashville-style hot chicken straight to your plate. Our finger-licking sandwiches will set your taste buds on fire. Come join us for a taste of Nashville right here in Phoenix at the corner of Tatum and Thunderbird. Brace yourself for a flavor explosion that'll keep you coming back for more. Hot Chicken Alley, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Football, right here on the Epic Sports Network. We welcome you back here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Swoovey coming to you live alongside my broadcast partner this evening, Mr. Jamal Gumo, joining us, host of the Gumball Sports Machine podcast. And now, Ed, we're going to bring on the Paradise Honors Panthers. We're so excited to visit with these young men, Coach Seacock and a couple of his players joining us here on the program. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. We are certainly excited to visit with you. If there's any way you could turn your phone and maybe give us that widescreen look, that would be fantastic. And we'll start off with
you know what?
Coach.
I'll try, but the kids are more tech sound. So like this, like sideways.
Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket right there, sir. Absolutely. That's perfect.
They know, they're laughing right now that I'm not good at this stuff.
No, they're
There
good.
we
You're
go.
good, Coach. Hey, thank you
They're
so
lucky
much.
I just had to get a new phone, James. I mean, I had an iPhone 10 for like forever, and then it stopped working. So they used to make fun of me. Now I have an iPhone, 16? So
there
we have
you
an
go.
iPad here,
Moving
but I don't
on
know
up,
if I know
Coach.
how to turn it on.
No, it's all good. Hey, thank you guys so much for taking the time. We appreciate it. We were unfortunately not able to catch up with you back in the summertime, but give us the lowdown on the Paradise Honors program. We're excited to come over there at you guys' place on Thursday for Thursday Night Football. Just tell us how things are going over there for the Panthers.
Yeah, we just literally just came off the practice field. We were practicing tonight. We're on fall break, so that's why these guys don't want to have their fancy hair out. They got their things on right there. They got real nice hair around here. Not me, but it's been this is my fourth head job, to be honest with you. And I told these guys this the other day that the most impressive part about this has been how much the seniors have just bought in and like become part of us, and like we get along so well. I mean, we're hard on them coaching wise, but the senior class, taking over. And in my first meeting, I was a little nervous with some of them. They were nervous with me. But then once we started really clicking with, started doing football stuff, it's been awesome. I don't know how many guys we have, 13, 14 seniors maybe, right? Around there. I mean, there's not one of them that hasn't done everything we've asked. And that's, in year 28 of coaching, that's made this, for me, really, really enjoyable. And, because sometimes when you take over, some kids just don't believe in your vision or how you're going to do things, and that's okay. And they have some connections with the previous staff, and as they got to know us, man, it's been awesome. I enjoy coming to practice every day, even though I've been doing this for a long time.
Coach, you mentioned the seniors have bought in. What kind of culture are you looking to build for the seniors to buy into? What kind of culture are you looking to represent your program?
I'm a real simple guy. I just want to have a good practice. Our thing is win today, and just be that. And we've talked about things of where we want to be more physical. We still believe in the game is a physical type game. We want to, but then off the field, when we're out in the community, we want to be leaders in the community, and they've done a really good job with that. And I've seen it throughout situations where our character has shined more than it has with some other places in schools. And that's why these two
Coach,
guys are picked here, because they do a lot for us, and they lead by example, and they lead vocally, and they lead in the classroom and on campus. They do everything we're asking.
Coach, you brought along defensive back Drew Dewitt and Preston Brown, your wide receiver. Tell us about Preston first off, and what he means to your offense as we take a look at some of his
Oh,
film.
he's gonna love it. He loves all the attention. What do we call him? Our offensive line coach calls him the Golden Boy, and I call him Hollywood Brown sometimes. And the dude's a straight baller. Last year there were some more passing attempts in a different system, different quarterback, and he lit it up. And I know we have the Dante Tyson and the young man at Thunderbird are fantastic receivers, and this young man's just as good as any of those guys. Like I always say, if he was 6'4", he'd have FCS schools all over him. But what are you, about 5'7"? No, he's about 5'10", right? Fantastic football player. I mean, loves it, competes, plays both ways, returns kicks. So does Drew. Drew plays some D, holds. He's been playing with a broken pinky for like 5 weeks. He doesn't say a word, and he talks some. He does like every other receiver. He never gets the ball enough, and he talks a lot of trash.
Yeah, Preston, I mean, we're looking at your highlights right now. What do you feel you do well? What do you feel your strengths are?
Honestly, I don't even really know. I feel I just whatever the coach I just follow the calls well and do what the coach says and just execute the play well. Just give full effort. I feel like that's just my biggest strength.
Coach, tell us about Drew. Obviously, we know that championship football programs are usually built around a really solid defense. Tell us about his production in the defensive backfield for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, the most competitive guy. These two are the most competitive guys in the program. And they get after it in practice, and Preston will be like, "Hey, just throw me a go ball so I could head top Drew," and Drew will talk trash back, And when you and again, Drew's not, and he's gonna laugh, and he knows I make fun of him, but he's not the tallest guy in the world. But some small school is going to be really happy if he wants to play like Division III football, because he's ultra competitive. He takes on the challenge each week. He lines up against the other team's best receiver. Last week he took on the challenge at Peoria and just lined up and played man to man on that young man with 40 offers. And if you looked at them, they're contrasting in physical style. But Drew DeWitt he's a competitor. That's what I like about it. He's the guy. If there was going to be a fight and we were stuck in an alley, we have some big dudes. We have a guy that's like 6'8", and we have a couple. But I if it was me and I needed somebody to have my back, I'd pick Drew DeWitt. That's how I describe him.
Drew, obviously going up against Preston every day in practice, how does that help you and prepare you for the actual game?
Honestly, it just brings out the best in me, because Preston is, I think, one of the better receivers that we have in 4A. And I've been going against him for the past 3 years, and it just makes me better every day in practice.
Yeah, guys, I don't have to ask if you have fun playing football over there for Coach Seacock. I can already tell that it is a whole lot of fun to be involved with that Paradise Honors football program. We looked at some of your film there. You guys are getting to take some long road trips like the one you took out there. It looks like to play Mojave and Bullhead City. How do you guys bond on those trips? And do you realize that, 20, 30 years from now, you're not going to remember the score of this Thursday night football game this week, but you will remember some of those road trips that you got to take with your brothers and some of the good times that you had off the field?
Yeah, answer that first.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say just obviously it's like a 4-hour drive. It's a long drive. It's just fun to be with your team and bond the entire way there. Just joke around, have fun. But then there's obviously the time you lock in. That's once we get close. But it's always a fun time to be with the team.
They're kind of used to it too. At being in 3A last year, they have to take. These guys have been here all 4 years, so they've had to take some longer bus rides. I think they've gotten excited for some of the shorter ones. To be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Preston, do you like to set goals for yourself? Obviously as a team, you want to go win every game, you want to win every day. But individually, is there like a goal that you have? I want to catch this many passes. I want to catch, for this many yards and this many touchdowns throughout the year. Do you set goals for yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like that's before the season. I set my goals every year before every season. So yes, I do have my goals.
Drew, as you look at this Thunderbird Titans team on film, what are you seeing from their offense, and how are you guys kind of, obviously without giving away any trade secrets here, how are you trying to slow them down this Thursday?
I think like the main thing is just being in position based on what they're giving us because they obviously run a lot of different formations. So it's just going to be being lined up in the right spot and making the plays.
Coach, coming down the home stretch of the season, what's the message? You mentioned earlier you just want to win. You just want to win today. What's the message the rest of the season to try and get them, and possibly make a playoff spot?
I think that's a tough one. We just a little bit talked about it. Besides, we just have to enjoy the day sometimes, and like, there's going to be times in practice and times during the week where it's not fun and we coach hard, but then we have to take some time in practice to just smile and come into the locker room and decompress and come back the next day and kind of like start over or flush it. Like we didn't have a great day. We come back the next day, we make our corrections, and we just focus on the now. We focus on and like I said, just the next practice. And when you do those things, the scoreboard will take care of itself in ways, and the rankings or whatever they asked me about it, and I say, I'm funny. I'm like, well, I've told you guys, don't if you need tutoring in math, I am not your guy. So, they teach English, so I can't explain it, but I can just explain that, hey, you just got to win football games, right? And those type of things. We have to be smarter with the ball. We turned it over 7 times against Peoria. That doesn't help. But I think it's still part of it is having fun and being, as an older coach now, and it's still. I always say, what do I say? That practice should be the most fun part of our day, right? Like you shouldn't get super hyped to be in algebra, or you shouldn't be, yeah, man, I'm excited to go take this chemistry test, but you should be excited to come. And we're in honor school, man. It's hard here, and I know for sure times in the offensive huddle, I'm definitely not the smartest guy, but they have chemistry homework. I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but practice should still be the most fun part of your day. Football should be the most fun part of your day. And when you have that, when you have fun and you compete, the outcome kind of takes care of itself.
Coach, for those who have never been over to Paradise Honors, including the Epic Sports Network, I mentioned we're making our first trip there for Thursday Night Football. Tell us about the environment there on a Friday night, and in this case, a Thursday night, and how pumped up are the fans for this game on Thursday?
Well, we're on fall break, so hoping the students show up. Right? What's we have a theme. Fridays, yeah, I think it's has it grown more?
Yeah, it's definitely grown the past few years. More kids have come to our school, but I think it's a pretty good environment. Everyone's pretty hype, and it's fun to play in.
Yeah, we have a fun student section. I think that, right?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't pay attention to this stuff during the game, but afterwards, the guys, we've had some fun teams, and the game against LA was obviously packed, and that's a big rivalry game. That one was huge. And then we have this unique thing where we don't actually have school on Fridays, so we're Monday through Thursday for school, so our Fridays are a little different. We wear our jerseys on Thursday to games and remind people that we play on Friday. So it's been a different feel, but it's a different community. There's a lot of kids that have been here since kindergarten, then been through the system or came into middle school, and and I think that's what makes it a little bit unique. It's a different like family environment. It's like a parent, my kids are in the system. One's at the middle school, one's at the elementary. They've been in it. A couple of our teachers, and our coaches, and I just think it's really grown. And a couple of years ago, when they made that run to the state finals, really sparked a lot of the interest out here that we're here and we're a good football program, and we still are, right? And now we're just up at 4A, and we got a little bit more of a competition than they had at 3A, and I believe that too. And we're going to continue to be a good football program, and the foundation like these two young men lay in that first year is important for us.
Drew, obviously, there's still some football to play, but how would you assess your season so far this year?
I'd say my season's been pretty good overall because I don't feel like I've been like undermatched in any of the games before. And like I feel like the main thing is just as a team we're playing really good. So I'm not trying to take any credit.
Yeah. How many interceptions?
Coach,
3.
Yeah.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
final question for you guys here tonight. Talk to us about your coaching staff. You can't do this by yourself. It takes a lot of people to put on a successful football program. Tell us about the men and maybe even the women that keep things going over there for the Panthers.
Yeah, well, two of them are sitting over here in the corner. They've coached with me before. I have three guys that are former players that coach for me. They played for me at Valley Vista. Our offensive line coach, Creston Coolidge. Our defensive coordinator, Christian Alvarado, was a linebacker there. Harold Dumas runs our secondary. He stayed, but he had coached with me for how many years? 8, 7?
Be close to 9.
It's almost, I can't believe he's put up with me for 9 years. And then we have the two Coach Tuckers, the father and son, and Max Spittler, who came back from Florida to coach here. And then we kept Phil Daly, who was on the staff last year, and his son Parker is one of our best linebackers. So they know I'm kind of hard on those guys, and I have high expectations, but they also know me, and they've been around me, so they know I can go from being really upset to goofing around in 30 seconds, and the players are laughing because like we have a refrigerator of popsicles over here, and I could be yelling at somebody 1 minute, and then 2 minutes later I'm handing out popsicles after practice, so and it's made it way more enjoyable, having those young guys around, and they connect with kids in different ways, like they're closer to their age. They're a little bit more savvy and trendy than I am. So it's really fun having the former players coach with me. And I've had a bunch throughout the years come back and help at different schools. But, Creston, he really handles all the run game and all the offensive line, and the two guys on defense, they've done a really good job of flipping how we've done things defensively. So,
Coach, how rewarding is it for you having coached as long as you have to have kids that want to come back and coach for you or under you and really give back to the kids or give back to you that gave so much to them when you were coaching them? How satisfactory is that for you as a coach?
it's for me, it's the number one thing. Like this week, we have a guy coming. He was our running back when I was at Shadow Mountain in 2005. He's an attorney now. I've been to weddings. I had not me, I'm not going to lie. My wife gets whoever's having a baby of the former players, my wife buys all the gifts for those kids or men now. I'm not that guy. They always go, Coach, you pick out the best gifts. I'm like, that's my wife, Amy. But hey, sure, I'll take credit. Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, and I even have guys that when I was in my 20s, like the other day we had the official, was it the ALA game? The official's son played for me at Horizon, and when I was there in 2004, and he said, "Hey, Matt is now 40 years old," and I'm like, "Wait, a kid played for me, and now he's 40?"
Time out on the field.
Yeah, but hold on, And I got a 9-year-old. I'm like, "What's going on around here?" Right? But I think that's what keeps me young. And every year, I'm like, I don't know, the end of the season, and then I take a little bit of time, and the relationships that I have over the years are what keeps me coming back and wanting to do it again. I'll take time off, and then with what I always tell the kids are like, I enjoy the off season. I won't miss things with my kids to just be at practice. We had the little Palmies, and my daughter was in the little Palmies. I waited a little bit, saw her do it at halftime, came in, and part of that is these young men are going to be dads or they're going to be husbands or whatever they're going to choose, right? And we want to lead by example. And so they could see somebody come back and work for you, that you were even hard on as a coach, and they come back and they enjoy working for you. They could see how you interact with your kids. And, hopefully when these young men go to college or whatever they do, they go with they take something from it. And, when they get married and they want to send me the invite, I'll either be there, or if they play in college, I always try to go see guys play in college at least once, those type of things. I think head coaches in general, and, even those younger head coaches in the state, that's something you should take from it, is the relationships you leave with it, or they leave your program and you've been able to connect with them and have this relationship. And these two young men, just in the short months that I've been here, I came here after Christmas last year, and the time from the summer on, going to San Diego and hanging out with them on the beach and then doing 7-on-7 and connecting with them has been super enjoyable. When they're done playing here, I'm going to be sad and we turn the page. But like I said, I've been super impressed with these two guys, and they make fun of me as much as I make fun of them, if not more. All right, and and so it's funny, they'll make fun of my hair, Drew calls me, my weight's not too great right now, and Preston tells me I'm slow, I can't run anymore, and that's the best part about it is when you can do those things. What do I say, Preston? Here's how you run this route, but hopefully you run it a lot faster than I run it right now at 51. So. And I think that's important, and I appreciate these guys. That's why I asked them to do this, and the relationships they brought to me, and their personalities that they brought to me. I take stuff from them too as well. Learning how competitive they both were and how they just want to win. They don't want to be the class that goes the other way with this program, and that's what I'm excited about every day we come to practice with these two and a bunch of the other seniors. I'm long-winded.
Yeah, Coach. It's all good. Coach, how important, obviously, you want to be that leadership. You want to be that guy for your players. How important is it for the players to be leaders? How important are those leaders, whether they're seniors or even underclassmen? How important is it for them to lead their guys?
Yeah, we do a little different. Like, we don't have quote permanent captains. We expect everybody to be a leader, but the older guys I like that they lead a little bit more by example here, right? They don't talk the talk and then not walk the walk. Like we have some younger guys and they practice on the same field as us. They can look over and be like, well, if Drew DeWitt's taking every rep that fast and that hard, you should be as well. And they lead by example. They don't just talk it, and they don't just, they don't give a ton of rah-rah speeches that don't have any meaning or have anything backed up to it, right? Like, when Preston talks, people are going to listen. And when he's upset and we need to pick it up in practice, he makes it real clear on offense. Like, hey, he'll talk, and he has the full floor to do that at any point in time in practice to do that. And I try to, I think, empower these guys to be that way, and hopefully that's something they take from it, is when they leave here, like, everybody has a voice, everybody has they all have a stake in this, and everybody has a say in this. How do you approach that? How do you do it? And Drew does it on defense, and when you see him compete, you're like, well, okay, well, why am I taking this rep off if the guy who's starting over there is going full speed every rep when it's hot, and those type of things.
The Paradise Honors Panthers joining us here tonight on the program. Coach Seacock, defensive back Drew DeWitt, and wide receiver Preston Brown joining us here on the program. Thank you guys so much for taking the time tonight. We certainly appreciate it, and we're excited for the game on Thursday night. We'll see you at your place in just 2 short days from now.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you again, gentlemen. Stay with us. We'll be back to wrap up this edition of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan after the break. Get ready to feel the burn in Phoenix's newest hotspot. Hot Chicken Alley brings the sizzling Nashville-style hot chicken straight to your plate. Our finger-licking sandwiches will set your taste buds on fire. Come join us for a taste of Nashville right here in Phoenix at the corner of Tatum and Thunderbird. Brace yourself for a flavor explosion that'll keep you coming back for more. Hot Chicken Alley, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Football, right here on the Epic Sports Network.
On game day, communication is everything. Procom offers the most powerful, most reliable headsets on the market. Paired with our state-of-the-art coach-to-player communication tools, your team is sure to dominate. It's time to communicate like a pro. Visit us at procomheadsets.com.
We welcome you back to the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Spoovy alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Jamal Gumo tonight. And Jamal, what a game we got Thursday night. I'm excited. The Thunderbird Titans at Paradise Honors. And what a pleasure to get to know Coach Seacock and those young men over there in Surprise.
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, just talking to them, JP, you can tell how locked in they are, how disciplined they are, but also how much they enjoy playing the sport of football. At the end of the day, it's a game, and so you're supposed to enjoy it. But you can also tell they know when it's time to lock in, when it's time to get serious, and that's the success that they've had this season. And so it was great talking to them and great kind of getting off the field with those guys.
Yeah, it's always great to get to know these players a little bit, off the field, kind of what they're into, what kind of makes them tick, and great stuff. Thursday night, we'll be on the air at 6:30 p.m. on the Epic Sports Network on YouTube, and then the folks at 12 Plus joining us at 7 for kickoff between the Thunderbird Titans and the Paradise Honors Panthers. I'm excited for that one. And today, Jamal, the rankings were released for the AIA, and thanks to our good friends over at Westside Sports, They got some outstanding graphics out here, Jamal. And if you think
Those look
about it,
amazing.
you look at that right there and you say, if the Arizona high school football playoffs started today, and obviously this is way too early for what's actually, going to shake out, but you take a look at some of these rankings that have come out, obviously, the top 4 teams, Basha, Hamilton, Liberty, and Chandler, and then it all trickles down from there. But, some good looking stuff right here.
Absolutely. And you see the 4 teams that have the bye in Basha, Hamilton, Liberty, and Chandler, like you mentioned. Those teams, now, sometimes it could be a blessing and sometimes it could be a curse, which opens up these opportunities for the teams that did not get the bye to go into one of these teams and upset them, because they are fresh. They are coming off a week in which they played already. And it's been a few weeks since these teams that have a bye, then they've played an actual game. So if they're able to take the opportunity, whoever does happen to win, and the teams that don't have a bye go into one of these places on the road and upset them, I think that would be their best opportunity to try and catch them sleeping.
It's always that conversation, Jamal. Is that bye week beneficial? Getting that rest in some of those bumps and bruises, or does it kind of take you out of rhythm a little bit when you're, you want to be rolling going into the playoffs, and then through the playoffs, you want to keep that train rolling at full steam the whole time. But, it's that ever present argument: is the bye week beneficial, or is it a detriment to your team?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see it really at all levels of the sport. You see it in the NFL, you see it at college. Last year in college football, the first year in which they had the 12-team playoff, I believe 3 of the 4 teams that had the bye lost in their first game. And so you can just tell it's all about discipline. It's all about discipline, going through that bye week, staying on your schedule, and practicing 100% every single day in which you practice, compared to the teams that have already been practicing and have played a game the week prior. So it's really based on the mindset and the way that the team goes about their business, the team that is on the bye. That is, I mean, a lot of the times they're more talented. There's a reason why they earned their bye. But if they're lacking and lackluster during the bye, it's going to catch up, because these teams that are fresh, coming off of a game already in that rhythm, are going to have a chance to upset them.
And then, of course, you've got that injury thing that we could do a whole other show on, that, every football team is subject to every single week. And it's all about who can stay healthy. And as we take a look at this here, you got the top 4 teams that would get a first round bye, and some interesting, hypothetical playoff matchups here. If you look at it, open division play-ins, you got Higley and Mountain View. South Point Catholic would face off against Brophy. Of course, this is if the season ended today. Centennial would play against Pinnacle, and then Williamsfield against Red Mountain. But, a lot of good teams, obviously, in this 6A/open division bracket here on the first day of the rankings being released.
Yeah, 100%. And really, JP, the one I'm kind of looking at and I think would be a really, really interesting game is that Centennial Pinnacle game. Those are 2 very, very physical teams. And that game would come down to the line of scrimmage. I mean, who's going to, as Kenny Dillingham, coach at ASU, would say, who is going to move the other person backwards? And both of those teams do that to other teams so very well. And to see those 2 big physical teams to play against each other when it matters the most, I think would be extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, that would be fun for sure. Let's take a look at the 5A bracket here, once again, courtesy of the fine folks over at Westside Sports Arizona. The top, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams would get a first round bye. Of course, Desert Edge coming in ranked number 1, followed by Desert View, a team down in Tucson. And we know last year, Jamal, you see Marana right there in the number 7 spot. They made some waves last season, getting into that open division conversation early in the playoff rankings.
Yeah, and they've just carried their success on to this season so far. I mean, they've had a lot of success this year, obviously coming off a playoff run last year, and to carry that success on over to this year, they're only looking to build on that. They're only looking to build on moving and make it even a deeper playoff run, and that's all based on consistency. Can you be consistent? Can you play at an elite level on a consistent basis? They've been able to do that so far, and if they're able to continue to do that the rest of the season, as you mentioned, JP, these are the way too early playoff rankings as if the season were to end today. But if Marana were able to consistently play on the level that they're playing on right now, they would have a very good chance to earn a bye in that first round.
They sure would. You take a look at Arizona College Prep under first-year head coach Derek Zeldner over there. They're checking in at the number 3 spot. Then you got Horizon, Desert Mountain, a couple of Scottsdale powerhouses there, ALA, Gilbert North, Marana, and then those Millennium Tigers, who we saw last Thursday night as they took care of business on the road at Tolleson. And they got an outstanding running back there for Millennium in Damari Bryant. You got to see him firsthand last week, Jamal.
Yeah, he's electric. I mean, over 200 yards. I was talking to, I can't remember his name, but it's Coach Lamar Early, his brother, and he was up there with me on top of the press box, and we were talking about Damari. I mean, he's had some electric games this year so far. JP.
Yes.
He has a 350-yard rushing game this year. He has a couple 200-yard games this year, and even it's going to take JP. You can't tackle him with one person. You have to gang tackle Damari Bryant, or else he is going to walk everybody down to the end zone. That is an electric run game Millennium has, and they weren't taking on some bum team. Tolleson has been very good this year, and they have an electric offensive passing game. And for Millennium to go into Tolleson and go win on the road, it was pretty impressive to see from them.
Yeah, and Millennium not only got it done offensively, but their defense was staunch as well, as they took care of previously unbeaten Tolleson last week on Thursday Night Football. Of course, you can catch that game on demand on the Epic Sports Network on YouTube. We will take a look now at the 4A here in just a second, as soon as I can cue that up here, Jamal. Let's see, wrong button right there. Here we go. But we talked with Coach Nolet just a moment ago. The rise of 4A football has been absolutely outstanding here in the Grand Canyon State.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see, JP. In high school, I played basketball and baseball, but so I didn't get the chance to play in football in the 4A, but it's only growing. And I can tell you right now, basketball was growing in 4A, so I can only imagine how much football is growing in 4A. And to see how much success these teams are having, teams I played against like Deer Valley, like Sierra Linda, these teams are growing each and every year. And it's really, really cool to see the success that 4A has had recently.
Of course, it's time for you to state your allegiance as you're rocking the Goldwater top right there. You're, of course, an alumni of the Barry Goldwater Bulldogs in the 4A. And, we see some of those teams right there. Snowflake checking number 1. Arcadia having a great season. Bradshaw Mountain. Mojave in the mix this year. Marcos Deniza back at it. Saguaro from down in Tucson, St. Mary's. And then how about the Gila Ridge Hawks out there in Yuma coming in? I believe they're undefeated, at least coming into last week's action under Coach Jessica Slaughter, doing a really good job out there in Yuma and trying to make their case as well in the 4A.
And that's the wonderful thing about football, JP, right? You never know who can make that run. Anybody can win on any given night. And so you see the success that some of these teams are having, teams like Arcadia and Mojave. And you can never tell. It's such a hard sport to really tell what's going to happen. And that's what's so wonderful about it, is to see that these teams are having success that maybe weren't exactly predicted to have very much success before the season. And so to see these teams playing well and earning themselves, hopefully, a playoff spot here in a few weeks is really nice to see.
This is that exciting time of year, Jamal. Things we're so grateful. Things have started to finally cool off a little bit. I don't think we were running for shelter too much today here in Arizona after all the rain we had over the weekend, I think. I tell you what, it's that magical time of year. The playoffs are just right around the corner, and we're really starting to separate the good teams from the great teams this time of year.
Yeah, this is the time to do it. This is the time to, if your foot is on the gas pedal, this is the time to press down. This is not the time to slow up and hit the brakes. This is the time to pedal to the metal, and that starts with practice. That starts with the process, and it's the teams that are the most disciplined, the most consistent, that are going to have the most success. And again, the consistency and discipline is what separates good from great teams.
Absolutely right. We will be on the air once again this Thursday night from Paradise Honors High School in Surprise at 6:30 p.m. right here on the Epic Sports Network on YouTube for our pregame show as the Thunderbird Titans visit the Panthers of Paradise Honors. And then the fine folks over at 12 Plus will join us at 7 p.m. for kickoff. And we're excited for that one. Thursday Night Football coming up once again this week. Thanks again, Jamal, for joining me tonight. Thanks again to all of our special guests who joined us here tonight from the Thunderbird Titans and the Paradise Honors Panthers. And we'll see you folks on Thursday night for Thursday Night Football right here as we bring you the Panthers and the Titans